Hey, everybody. This is Mark Gilatush from New Patients Inc. and Sal Khan, the Director of Company Growth at New Patients Inc. Say hi to everybody, Sal.
How's everyone doing?
All right. So why are we here? We are here because Craig Cowan, your hero from this Facebook group, put a post out about a month or so ago where he wanted the feedback on how to manage Google Ads. And Craig and I go back, I don't know, probably 20, 25 years. Actually, I have a rental property or a couple of rental properties, and he has rental properties. So at some point in our work together, he was nice enough to share with me some template documents that he uses for his rentals. So anyway, Craig's a great guy. And when he posted in this Facebook group how to manage Google Ads, you know, we're really good at managing Google Ads. So I said, hey, Craig, why don't we do this? Why don't we do an initial analysis of your Google Ad, basically market. The whole market, right? In and around Mansfield, Ohio, 44906. And it would be great if we could videotape you, us presenting this to you so that your followers on your Facebook group will actually learn along with you. And he wasn't shy. He was just really busy because in the summertime, he spends a lot of time up at the lake on his boat and spends a lot of times with his girls. And he's also, I don't know, he's building buildings. The guy never sleeps. So Sal and I decided, you know what, we're just going to do the initial analysis, and we're going to, I'm going to play Craig Cowan, and I'm going to ask him questions that are typically asked by, you know, dentists and office managers about Google Ads, what matters, what doesn't matter. And then Sal is going to point out a lot of areas about Craig Cowan's market that really can point you in either a really good direction, which is, wow, this is a great opportunity for me to put some marketing dollars in, or, oh my God, I should stay away from this subject when I use my Google Ad marketing dollars. So that's why we're here. So we might as well jump right in. Sal, my name's Dr. Craig Cowan, and thank you for connecting with me and going through this report. Go ahead.
All right, Dr. Cowan. So you're interested in doing Google Ads. So as we mentioned, it's important to analyze your market before you implement Google Ads. One, to see is it viable, and two, if it's viable, what kind of budget you need depending on the subjects that we target. So based on our conversation, we identified 4 subjects that would be viable to go after, or that you're interested in going after online. So we grouped up general dentistry, implants, dentures, and emergencies. Now on the first page, you'll see it says, if all 4 subjects are targeted for a Google ad campaign, your recommended starting budget would be $4,000. That doesn't mean you have to spend $4,000. It's if you want to go after each subject. So let's take a look at each subject. For each subject, you're going to find that we're identifying who the competitors are, how much the competitors are spending.
Well, and also, what do you mean competitors?
So in your market for general dentistry, dentists near me and related search terms, the competitors that we identified for the days that we analyzed were these 3 practices on the right. So these are the practices that are currently in your Google ad market bidding up bid prices for general dentistry.
Okay, so they're competing on bid pricing.
Yeah.
They're bidding on things like dentist near me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Google's a bidding environment. And, right. If you said, Sal, just go ahead and throw $500 at general dentistry and let's just see how it works, I'd be doing you a disservice if I did that. Because, right. Hey, Google's a bidding environment and our minimum we're saying is 1,000. If you spent 500, you really wouldn't get much results or build enough traction to optimize your campaign.
So what are some other things that, looking at these ads, what are some other stories? What other stories do these ads tell you? By the way, Craig Cowan would never say that. But go ahead.
I won't say which competitor are on this page, but one of the competitors is actually not even within their town. They're about 12, 13 miles away from their practice. Is that really viable for the patients to travel that far? Maybe, maybe not. But this is, in reality, this is who is in your market driving up bid prices. This is your competition within your market, regardless if they're 20 or 30 miles away, they're a competitor.
But if I'm Craig Callan and I have somebody competing against me and they're 13 miles away from Mansfield and I'm in Mansfield and somebody types in dentist near me, I'm at the advantage, aren't I?
Yeah, because
Okay.
people realize you're in closer proximity to the practice. You know, there's
Okay.
less risk to patients coming to visit you, and it gives you
Okay.
an advantage. The other advantages we look for are the ads. The ads will tell us where the patients are being dropped off. So we're looking at the first one, they're dropping off at their home page. The next competitor is dropping them off at a specific landing page for dentistry with a call to action, right? And this competitor is dropping them off at a specific landing page. And we won't confirm one of these competitors is dropping off the visitors to a page that doesn't even work.
Right, right. Which is also to Craig Callan's benefit.
Exactly.
Right.
When we find that competitors are dropping off specific landing pages, that leads us to believe that the dentist may not be doing themselves. They may be more of an advanced marketer helping them to, implement their Google ads. The other thing we look for are within the ads, what are the ads talking about? So you'll see one of the competitors is using a deal to attract new patients, right?
Right.
The other two competitors are talking more about their benefits. This goes into us assessing if the market is viable. So if we found that, hey, bid prices are $2,000 to $3,000 a month for general dentistry and all of the competitors in your market are using cheap deals, well, we don't want to throw you in an environment where you have to compete being the cheapest dentist.
Right, right. Makes sense. And
Yeah.
we know Dr. Callan's not the cheapest dentist.
No.
Right.
And we don't want to drive shoppers to the practice,
Right.
especially in a Google ad market. Now, the other thing we didn't talk about, Dr. Callan, is the first 90 to 120 days. We're saying, hey, spend $1,000 for this period. This is our initial ramp up period. What we're doing is we're collecting data to see, hey, what's it taking us to generate a new patient appointment? But what we're trying to do is do it for the lowest cost possible. Along the way, as we're identifying what's going to generate new patient appointments or good leads for the lowest cost, what we're trying to do is find out what revenue are they generating for the practice. So this way, when you hit.
So I'm Dr. Callan. How do you know if you generated a new patient?
Well, so we have a dashboard, and in that dashboard helps provide our clients transparency. And what we're doing is listening, rating, and classifying all of their calls. That's actually critical into optimizing a campaign, because if a certain bid search term that they're bidding on is generating nothing but bad leads or existing patients, well, naturally you want to stop bidding on that search term and collect it as a negative keyword. At the same time, we're finding out which search terms are generating good leads or good lead new patient appointments. And then we're trying to lower that cost down. So that's what that ramp up period is. Hey, we're going to see, hey, what quality patients can we generate? And two, what kind of revenue are those patients generating? Is it viable to continue after it? This is somewhere, honestly, Dr. Callan, most marketers drop the ball, because they'll try to say, oh my God, you got so many people clicking on your ad. Oh, your Google Analytics are saying so much. But then, oh my God, you must have gotten 100 phone calls because 100 people clicked on that call to action, call to practice. But then in reality, that's not what's taking place.
No.
So this was general dentistry. This gives a little bit more of a deeper one. Questions on general dentistry before we switch to emergencies?
No.
Excuse me, dental implants.
This is, if I'm Dr. Callan and I saw this and I heard that explanation and I saw that one of those landing pages doesn't even work and the other, and there's only 3 of them. Mm-hmm. So I would probably put some money here.
Yeah, there's one more piece of data that we're going to connect the dots on, which is at the end. But based on the data points we're looking at here, bid prices are within reason. They're not really, driven up to be hyper competitive there. And then the competitors, we saw areas of opportunity there. So based on that, it is definitely viable. And then as we switch gears and looking at what other subjects are viable, we pulled up dental implants. You'll see that the budget's about the same as general dentistry. You'll notice that we do have some new competitors in the mix. And on the right side, we're looking at what kind of where are they dropping them off? So you'll notice in this case, they're all dropping them off at specific landing pages. So naturally, what we're seeing is it's more competitive for dental implants. Yeah. The other good thing, honestly, is there's nobody using cheap deals. There's markets that we come across where it's like $14.99 dental implant special, $12.99, free this, free that. We're not seeing that taking place at all. We're talking more about benefits, which is a good sign. Based on these data points, it looks like dental implants is a viable option. In this subject, we also identified that there was a competitor from about 22 miles away.
Right.
Will they viably travel? Potentially, but it will give our client the advantage knowing that, hey, there's somebody in our market, they probably will choose us because we're closer. As we continue on, we have dentures. Now you'll see some of the competitors are starting to pop up again. That means that, hey, they're going after other subjects as well. But hey, bid prices, it was wasn't really hyper competitive. It's about average compared to all the other subjects. On the right side, we're seeing that, hey, Affordable Dentures is dropping them off at a specific landing page. Someone's dropping off at a Dentures landing page. The other person's just dropping them off their home page. Overall, no deals. Looks pretty good from this aspect. Questions on this, Dr. Callan?
Yeah, and this is, I'm sure Craig would know this, but I'm going to ask it anyway for everybody, for all the other dentists on here. How can I compete with Aspen Dental? Aspen Dental has 2,000 dental offices and they have a war chest of marketing money. Can someone like me compete with Aspen Dental?
Well, it also goes into how many practices Aspen Dental has across the country, and how effective is each location hyper targeting that market. And yeah, no, I think in every market that we've ever competed with Aspen Dental, we're always on top of the page and our ads are seen a lot more than the competition. And part of that secret sauce is like the ad relevance score. We know how to make our ads be more attractive to Google to get us better positioning for cheaper.
Right. So the bottom line is you can compete. The average dentist can be competitive on Google Ads and spend less money for higher ad placement than Aspen, Modern, Pacific, Heartland. The biggest DSOs in the country can't optimize at this level.
And they don't optimize the same way we do as well,
No.
which is listening, rating, and classifying the marketing calls, right? That's how we save you marketing,
Right.
like not wasting
Thank
your
you.
marketing spend. And then lastly, we have emergencies.
There's
So for
Aspen again.
yeah, now they
Yep.
popped up again. Now, this one was different. Now, Dr. Callan, you'll notice right off the top, you're seeing discounts, free. The bottom competitors mentioning a deal for emergencies. The middle one's talking about benefits.
Right.
The ones using deals are just dropping off their homepage, hoping that those patients convert. The one is dropping off that landing page that may not work actually, that
Right.
we may have tested. So overall, emergencies looks like a little bit more competitive from a deals aspect. Budgets aspect, about the same for all of the subjects. Now, that gave us a little bit of a baseline. Let's connect the dots on the last piece, which is the search volume. If there isn't much of a search volume and it's very competitive, that's another way that we can disqualify a subject.
Right.
So when we look at general dentistry, naturally general dentistry is going to have the largest search volume. And in this case, we're seeing 480 for dentists near me, which is in most markets the most common search term searched. And we're seeing that it's only medium, but overall it's low competitive, right? So there's a high search volume, low to medium competition. And when we looked back at the ads, the budget wasn't very high. The ads were not grossly competitive, as in filled with cheap deals. This lets me know, hey, this is a viable subject for us to go after in your Google ad market. Questions on general dentistry and the search volume and competition?
No, I do want everyone to know, this isn't a question, this is more of a statement, that people who are searching online, the number of people who are typing in these search terms and phrases are people who have a need right now, and this is actually in most cases, or were just diagnosed by their dentist and they were sticker shock during the treatment plan consult, and they're probably in the car in the parking lot of their own dentist looking for cheaper alternatives. Okay,
Naturally making them a shopper.
they're right. Okay, so look, every marketing channel has pros and cons. You know, one of the pros of digital ads like Google ads especially is volume. The phone is going to ring, right? It's absolutely going to ring. The downside is you're going to kiss a lot of frogs to find your prince and princesses. That's just the nature of the beast. That's,
Yeah, some of the
you know,
best of markets that we do advertising in, 50% of the patients searching online are shoppers. The other 50 are the quality. That's the best. But
right,
normally, what do we see? Around 60 to 70% of the population is searching online to be shoppers.
right. So it's not, you know, this versus that, good versus evil. It's not, it's just a characteristic of the marketing medium. 35, 40 years ago, if there's any dentist watching this right now who've been, you know, practiced 30 or 40 years ago, you remember the yellow pages and you remember jockeying for position, you know, to the front of the dentist section of the yellow pages. Welcome to the yellow pages, 2022. That's what Google ads are, right? You're paying for position to the top of that search. And you can just consider that a dental search, just like the yellow pages. We would go to the dentist section. You wanted to be AAA dentist at the very first listing alphabetically. Times have changed, but they really haven't changed. I mean, it looks different, but the same basic principles apply even back to the folks who remember yellow pages. This is just a new digital version of yellow pages.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Seth.
Oh, spot on, Mark. So the next subject we analyzed from search volume aspect was implants. Now you're going to notice that there's a big drop in implants where, dentist near me had 480 searches within his town. In your town, Dr. Callan, you have 40 for dental implants, and that's the top search term, right? And we're already seeing that more of the search terms have more competition, right? Versus what we looked at for general dentistry. So I'm kind of on the fence on this. It would kind of really depend on what we're looking to attract, because in some markets, dentures is a way for us to get implant cases, right? And you're
Right.
already seeing that the search volume for dentures in this case are much greater. Now, lastly, we're looking at emergencies, and you'll see emergencies has a little bit of a medium to low competition, but about a little bit of an average search volume. So depending on your goals, Dr. Callan, if you're looking to get more volume of patients to come in and you want to deal with less shoppers, I would imagine in your market, based on the analysis, I would go after general dentistry definitely, and then potentially adding dentures or implants into the mix. In your IA, emergencies had competitors in there using some cheap deals. I don't want to throw you in the mix of that. And, going after a little bit of cosmetics and a little bit of general will give you a nice balance.
Yeah, and he could balance this out. Little bit of budget in digital, a little bit of budget in offline, right? Reach out to people who aren't necessarily shopping today and be there when people are shopping.
Yeah, that's actually one of the advantages with us when we do our market analysis. We're not just looking at online from an SEO or just Google ads. We're also looking at offline. How viable is it? So should your marketing plan be 50-50 online, offline, or should it be a little bit different? It all depends on your
That
market.
actually changes with every dentist, because some dentist needs 100 patients a month tomorrow. And then some dentists are like, I only need 5 or 6 really good ones each month, additional ones. So that really depends. But for Craig Callan, so Craig, you're watching this, it's on your Facebook group. You better be watching this. So here's our bottom line recommendation for you specifically, your practice and your market. General dentistry, viable. Budget, we wouldn't go under $1,000 a month. Probably wouldn't spend $1,000 a month, but for you, to planning purposes, plan on spending about $1,000 a month. You'll probably spend less if it's managed properly. If it's managed improperly, you can spend as much as you want. Google will gladly take your credit card. So denture, if you're after denture and or denture patients who may transition into implant denture patients or just implant patients, dentures is probably the second one that we would go into. Implants would be likely third, and emergencies are overbought. Emergencies are overbought in your market. They're overbought, and people are actually putting deals out there to be interrupted at 10 o'clock in the evening on a Friday. So it's kind of clear that emergencies are overbought. And we see that in multiple markets across the country. You're not the only market to have emergencies overbought. As soon as COVID happened, a lot of dentists moved their money into that emergency section, and they just left it there because they're not even managing their campaign. They probably don't even know how overbought or how expensive those keywords and search terms are. And that happens when you manage your own campaign. So that's the bottom line, Craig. Those are our recommendations. Those are why our recommendations are what they are. Those are your competitors. That's how far away they are. They're all managing their own. I don't know. I don't think any of them are professionally managed. Aspen's obviously are professionally managed, but they're just dropping them off at aspen.com and forcing the traffic to find an Aspen office near me again, after they just typed in dentist near me. So that shouldn't stop you in any way. So yeah, this is a viable place for your marketing dollar. Anything else that you want to add, Sal?
Yeah, I mean, this is just the starting point. Doing this analysis is mandatory. It's a necessity, right? Because you want to do it closest time before you go live, because in 6 months from now, hey, you may have different competitors, or in 6 months from now, bid prices may have gone up. So this is the first piece. The next piece really goes into the transparency in the marketing, the listening, rating, classifying. That's how we work closely with our teams in the practice, the office managers, and the front desk team to get the best results, to optimize quicker and sooner, and then most importantly, track the revenue on the back end, because then that's how we can debunk if it is not generating a positive result, or hey, is this something that you should put more marketing resources into?
Yeah, no, the tracking of it, all of this data which feeds into it. Or do you have the dashboard available?
Yeah, I can pull up a dashboard.
All right.
We'll pull up our sample account. So I'll go over to our demo account to give a little bit of a better gauge. Go to Royal Teeth.
Royal Teeth, great. Okay.
So what you're seeing here is, hey, this is a Google ad caller. We know that it turned into a new patient appointment.
And how do we know that? How do we know that?
Well, we have call tracking numbers set up for our Google ads. We also have
and we listen to the call.
Yeah, we're listening, rating, classifying the call. Right. If your marketer is telling you, hey, we use an AI to transcribe our conversations, you're going to find that they're only 60 to 70% accurate. We want to reduce that fluff in your data, right? If they say that we're going to match it based on the caller ID number, well, if I called and scheduled for my child, well, that's my number, not necessarily going to be my child's number. So you're also going to have inaccuracies there. So that, how do we reduce that and make it more effective? We have a team that's listening, rating, classifying, and at the end of the week, you get a nice reporting giving you an overview, that CEO overview of, hey, what were the calls that you had last week? Where did they come from? What were the outcomes of?
Good deal. So then basically, if I'm Craig Callan, I just look at my report and go to my boat on the lake.
Yeah.
Or go fix another building or whatever else I want to do. All right, cool. Thank you, Sal. Thank you for
my pleasure
being part of this presentation. I will grab this video and post it to the group. We probably,
if anybody has questions, give us a shout.
Yeah. How would people get a hold of you?
You can go to newpatientsync.com and contact us from there, or you can always go to my Calendly link, which is my online scheduler, and just go to calendly.com/Sal, SAL, and PI.
Okay, cool. So they can just grab 15 minutes.
Yeah, and we can hop in.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Take care.